Hi neighbors, Anthony West, and I'm coming at you with a new video today that I think will really help to illustrate the issue with NYTEX and the recurring gun shows at that location. Apologize for not posting an update to this petition in a couple of days, but I've been messing around with some maps that I think will give us the data that we need to go to NYTEX and make a peaceful petition. We're going to go over those maps today. Also, thank you to everyone who has signed our petition or shared it on social media. We're getting good traction with parents, and I'm meeting with PTA leadership and teachers and lots of people from the community. So we're going to have 100 to 250 signatures here very, very soon. And I'm hoping that this video helps drive that as I share it through our petition website. These are location maps of premier gun show locations throughout the state of Texas. Premier is the host of the NYTEX gun show. And they also show the closest 3 elementary, middle, or high schools to the convention location in each one of these cities. So I'm going to go through them one at a time, starting with the location that has the most buffer between the convention center and the nearest 3 schools, which is Pasadena, Texas. So if you're not familiar where Pasadena is, it's southeast of the greater Houston area, towards the Gulf Coast. And at the bottom of this slide, you can see the little red dot. That is the Pasadena Convention Center. And then the green flags to the north are the 3 closest schools. Like I said, Pasadena is probably in the best position when it comes to distance between the gun show location and the 3 nearest schools, because that convention center is squarely in the middle of a light industrial and commercial zone. Next, we have Humble, Texas, a 0.8 mile minimum distance to a school, and one of those schools is across a major interstate, so you've got even greater separation there. Allen, Texas, North DFW area, if you're familiar with that. This convention center, the Credit Union of Texas Event Center, has a 0.7 mile minimum distance from a school. Waxahachie, 0.6 mile, and then even some additional division as some major freeways, interstates run through the Waxahachie area and create barriers there. Then we have another one that occurs in the mid-cities area in what I would call a non-traditional location that's not a dedicated convention hall. This is at Texas Harley-Davidson along 183. And it has a 0.5 mile minimum distance between it and the nearest school. But again, the 183 is between it and the that closest school, and so it delineates the neighborhoods pretty well. And if you're at Texas Harley-Davidson, you're pretty squarely in a commercial area next to restaurants and other businesses. Amon G. Carter Exhibit Hall. Premier does quite a few shows at this location every year. It has a 0.5 mile minimum distance from a school. You're right there in the arts district, so there's a lot of development there, and the schools are outside most of that. Mesquite, Texas, getting a little closer at 0.4 miles, just to the west of the Mesquite arena, the rodeo arena and convention hall, is an elementary school, middle school, and a high school all kind of clustered together in one school district zone. And so they're a little bit tighter to the gun show location. 0.3 mile minimum distance in New Braunfels. So we're just over a quarter mile in distance in New Braunfels. Also in Waco, they're about the same at Extraco Convention Center. But then you have NYTEX, and even though I'm zoomed out to show the greater hometown area here, it is measured in feet, not sections of a mile, because you're a mere 700 feet to Birdville High and a mere 800 feet to Walker Creek Elementary. In fact, if you stand at the front door of NYTEX, you just have to go like this and like that and see both schools. They're that close. So number one, we've got what I would call a non-traditional facility. It's a sports center. It's a hockey rink and indoor football, soccer, volleyball club facility. So in that way, it's kind of like the Harley Davidson location. It's not a dedicated convention hall, and it's not in a commercial or light industrial area. It's right next to homes. It's right next to our kids' schools, and so it's in the middle of a neighborhood in which it serves. With a lot of those amazing sports programs. So could we do better in the mid cities? Well, let's just look at an example. Let's take a look at Hearst Convention Center just north of 121 near the Precinct Line intersection. If you are at the Hearst Convention Center, you are 1,000 feet from the Hearst PD headquarters. You're also squarely in a commercial area next to restaurants and hotels, other businesses. This is a much better match. And Hearst Convention Center is not frequently holding youth sports matches for anything. They are an event and a convention center just for this type of activity. So to sum it all up, the gun shows at NYTEX are incongruent with the community sports environment. I felt this firsthand on Sunday, the last day of the gun show, as I watched kids wheel out their practice equipment in their hockey bags and people walk in and out of the firearms sale. And I just thought, this is such a ridiculous crossover. This is a sports facility and it's inviting danger to an area that is dense with schools and homes. NYTEX gun shows are the outlier. We saw that on the map. The overlap of the show and youth sports, it's happening. And one example of that would be kids who were in the summer camp programs last summer directly overlapped the gun show. They had summer camp and the gun show in the building at the same time. They're having hockey and the gun show in the same building at the same time. The baseball game for Birdville was happening on Saturday during the first day of the gun show, just 700 feet away. So there's overlap here, and NYTEX is the one location among the premier gun show locations that does not seem to belong. And so I hope this video gives you a little bit more data, a little more information that's helpful to you making a decision. Number one, sign our petition. Number two, share it with people in the neighborhood that you think have an interest in this, that have kids in these programs. And number three, I just really ask that everyone be very respectful in communicating these ideas. We got lots of different kinds of people in our neighborhood. And I think that people who are pro Second Amendment rights, people who are big advocates for gun ownership, can see the common sense in this issue. And I've seen some of those comments at the bottom of our petitions, people saying, hey, I'm a legal gun owner and this seems crazy. Why are we inviting this type of liability, this type of danger into our community when we know we could do better? So let's remain respectful and peacefully go to NYTEX with the signatures on this petition, because I think that as a community, with the business owners in our community, we can come to beneficial compromise and we can see good things done for the kids in our schools, for the kids in our sports programs, and for the neighborhood at large. Thank you so much for your time. Share, like, and check out the other videos on this channel. Thanks.